with her new chief of staff, a message I think was delivered to David Axelrod, one of the chief advisors of the White House, that when the First Lady's office calls, you need to return the call.
Well, can you imagine that they're not returning the First Lady's calls? And that NBC report I thought was very interesting when they were talking about the former Chief of Staff, Jackie Norris, who was 37 years old. They described her as the woman who was driving around Michelle Obama to all of the campaign positions. So maybe she wasn't ready to be the First Lady's Chief of Staff, but the new Chief of Staff, Susan Scher, is 61 years old, and the Washington Post article described her more as Michelle's peer, which I think is very interesting, that it sounds like they're all speaking the same language in the White House now, and that the First Lady's office is really going to put the pressure on to the Oval Office. So the future is here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Lancaster has a population of 55,000 people, and right now they are being watched by approximately 165 closed-circuit televisions. Can you believe this? There are closed-circuit televisions watching the population for crime or any kind of nefarious things that could be going on, but they're not being watched by police departments or law enforcement. They're being watched by private citizens who are just watching the cameras and then call the Lancaster Police Department when things look a little fishy, when people are loitering, when there could be prostitution going on. I think this is a very interesting idea. Maybe interesting is not the right word because I don't agree with it. There are a lot of cities that are doing closed-circuit monitoring, including Los Angeles and at least 36 other California cities. A lot of people started doing this after 9/11. They felt like if we had been watching the streets, we would be more safe, and they feel like that in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I find this interesting, one, because it's just citizens watching us on TV and then calling in, which I think is not a good idea. I'll refer to the lawyer here on that one. But also Lancaster, Pennsylvania, known for its large Amish community who don't have televisions. So,
yeah, I didn't realize Lancaster was such a hotbed of criminal activity. You know, when I think of crime, I got to say I just don't think of Lancaster.
No, well, Lancaster has a little bit of a problem. They are growing, they're getting a lot bigger, and a lot of criminals are using Lancaster as a stopover for a lot of felonies that are taking place. So there is a crime wave happening in Lancaster. But what do you think about having these private citizens watching cameras?
Well, you know, I don't think that they should take the place of police. I think there is always a role for citizenry to aid the police in what they do, but if you're going to put these cameras up and you're going to rely on citizens to interpret behavior, I don't think they're trained or qualified to do that. Now, I mean, that's just my own opinion. And secondly, like you said, most people in Lancaster, I think a large part of the population is Amish. So they don't have electricity, as far as I understand. They don't have modern conveniences. They don't have televisions.
Well, so and many of the people who are watching these, the citizens who are watching these cameras, are not in Lancaster. These are people in their mother's basements in Iowa watching TV. Now, there is one person who thinks it's a good idea. It's the owner of the city's largest beer and soft drink distributor. His name is Jack Bauer. Jack Bauer thinks this is a great idea. Of course Jack Bauer thinks it's a great idea. Jack Bauer, always on the cutting edge of terrorism. Now, this is actually a real Jack Bauer. He thinks it's a great idea, and he says that his store hasn't been robbed since the 4 cameras went up nearby. So they're using the cameras as a deterrent to crime. It's just an idea that I don't feel comfortable with. Citizenry, unprepared and untrained, to be watching me on TV and then calling the police when they think I'm doing something that they don't like. I have a problem with that. Big Brother is here, and they're in Grandma's basement watching you right now.
Well, speaking of Jack Bauer, I'm a 24 fan, and this season one of the things I noticed was at the end of many of the episodes, you saw many of the characters having a frank discussion with you about how you can be more green in your life, and how on the set they're actually trying to be more green. Well, one of the most important ways, Sonya, that you can be green in your life is to change the type of toilet paper you use. Apparently, most of the most popular brands that we use of toilet paper actually come from virgin trees that have to be cut down and used specially for that purpose. So a lot of the paper companies are developing new products which use up to 40 or 50% recycled materials, which are far better for the environment. So, Sonya, here's my challenge. You mentioned you hadn't been using your Twitter account lately, so I want you to change your toilet paper, use one of these recycled brands, and we can all follow you on Twitter, and you can kind of let us know how that's going.
It's like you're sending my Twitter account down the toilet. I wonder about how soft these items are, because, toilet paper is important to people's daily lives, and I want to know that what I'm spending my money on is very good for the environment, but at the same time, I'm not willing to pass the buck on this one.
Well, check out the article in Time, which is where I saw it, and they actually had people give feedback about which brands they liked and which brands they disliked. So I don't want to endorse any particular one. I don't want to influence your decision in any way, so I'll just tell you to check out the article and decide for yourself.
How about this? Actually, I will take that challenge. I will take that challenge, America, and I will start using some recycled products, and I'll tell you what I like most. I saw Reynolds Wrap is coming out with 100% recycled aluminum foil, which when I saw that, I thought, duh, why haven't we done this before? So I need to start doing that. Next time I see you, we'll talk about toilet paper again.
I can't wait. And one final story we have for you is, with all the dealerships that are closing down all across the country, GM and Chrysler, there's a company from India that wants to bring pickup trucks to you. Mahindra and Mahindra Motors, which already sells tractors, Indian-made tractors in the United States, is going to be introducing a line of light-duty pickup trucks, which burn clean-burning diesel. So look for those. They're looking to compete with the likes of Ford and Toyota with their mid-sized trucks, and I wonder if this is going to take off.
The only way that this will take off is if they have those custom paint jobs that you only find in India with a little flap on the back that says "honk, please." I'm buying one of those cars. If a pickup truck was like that, I would buy it.
Yeah, there you go. They have to have the horns, though. The horns are important.
Yeah, it has to be that blaring horn, because then people will get out of your way. In America, they're not used to that.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Well, that's all we have for you today, but coming up after the break, we have an interview that Ramesh did with Broto Roy, a tabla player who has a wonderful CD out. So we look forward to that. And a happy 4th of July to you, Dinesh.
Happy 4th of July to you as well, Sonia. I enjoy doing the show with you, as always.
Thank you. It's always nice to see you here at the desk.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Namaste.
Namaste.